a really traumatic experience when I was a kid. Not besides the fact that I didn't have my biological father around to develop my self-esteem and all these other things I think he should have done. I had a father that replaced him, but he was kind of a tough love kind of guy. So he wasn't touchy-feely like that. So I didn't get a lot of those father-son, let me teach you this, son, kinds of moments, right? So I didn't know what to do, right? Well, check this out. So in the 8th grade, my friend, he says, well, why don't you ask, so and so? I'm not gonna say her name because I'm a little bit famous now. I don't want to embarrass anybody, but he's like, why don't you ask so and so to go to the dance, to the school dance? And I was like, no, I don't. I'm not gonna ask her. Nobody wants to go to the dance with me. And he was like, I'll ask her for you. And I was like, no, 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 no. So this is crowded cafeteria. He gets up and he goes over to the girl and he whispers something in her ear. I think he whispers like, do you want to go to the dance with Boyce? And she gets up and she said, hell no, right? Real loud. And everybody in the cafeteria heard it. And I mean, you ever have those experiences where you feel like you could have like shrank, that you wanted to shrink down and be the size of a bug? Like emotionally, you're just dead and flat. And I know men don't talk about these sorts of things, commonly, but what the hell? I'm confident. I'm okay with sharing this because there's a broader point here, right? But that experience was devastating. It was traumatizing. I felt like the whole school like saw me get humiliated, even though none of them knew what he whispered in her ear. But in my 12-year-old mind, it was soul crushing, right? That stayed with me. Like that stayed with me for a long time. I was afraid. Like I would try to talk to a girl, my hands would start sweating. I didn't know what to say. And I had to give myself therapy. I literally through my 20s read books and listened to motivational tapes to try to understand how to embrace that trauma, not just in that area, but in all areas that held me back, so that I could get out of my own cage. I built a little prison that I didn't enjoy being in. And I said, if I don't confront my fears, I'm going to be locked up for life, right? And I said, I'm not trying to go back to jail. I'm not trying to stay in jail, right? So I worked through that. But literally that one trauma from the 8th grade, every time a pretty girl came by, so I meet Alicia, who eventually is going to be my wife, the prettiest woman I'd ever seen in my life. I saw her across a crowded room, still to this day, prettiest girl I saw the whole time I was at Indiana University. And I did not talk to her because I was mortified. I did not know what to say, right? So there we go. That's my confession for the day. Why did I tell that story? That really awkward story that I just shared with you it's because that also happens in a lot of areas of life. In investing, as well as entrepreneurship. What my friend from India was explaining was that when you have trauma, you don't see the upside of taking a risk. You pretty much see mostly the downside, right? So if I offer you, so one person who is optimistic and confident, if I say to them, hey, I'll offer you $10,000 to climb Mount Everest, they're like, yeah, what the hell? Yeah, dude, I want that 10 grand. What I got to do, right? A pessimist is a traumatized person would be someone where I say, okay, how about I offer you 50,000 to go to climb Mount Everest? They're like, no, I'm not climbing no mountain. I'm not trying to die. I'm not trying to, get killed, right? You offer them 100,000, they still won't do it. 200,000, they won't do it, right? And so what happens is actually mathematically you can model. That's what they call utility functions. You can model this mathematically, right? And so Black people, one of the reasons we don't invest, one of the reasons that we don't start businesses, and my friend is 100% correct, is because we've been traumatized. How many of you, give me a yes or no, how many of you have relatives where if you tell them you're starting your own business, they would spend like an hour and a half telling you all the things that can go wrong, right? Or if you say, hey, I decided I really want to invest in the stock market, and let's say that they know nothing about the stock market, but they would spend like the whole day telling you that how the stock market is risky, you're gonna lose all your money, all these bad things are gonna happen. You should have stuck with that safe job. Many of you have family members like that. Well, there's a history of that. There's a legacy to that. There's a reason for that. And it starts with the fact that we are the most traumatized people in America. That's also the reason, not just why we don't build businesses or invest. It's also the reason why we don't invest in each other, because investing in each other, working together, forming a family, marrying a person, those are all risky investments. And a traumatized person has a hard time taking risk because they're afraid of all the things that can go wrong, right? So so that explains a lot of what you're dealing with. So the best advice I can give you also is in terms of investing and building things and doing things is find a way to embrace your trauma, just like I did with the thing with the girl. You know, I got to the point where I wasn't scared to talk to women, you know, eventually, because I was like, no, if I see something I want, I'm gonna go after it, right? Right. That's just how I approach everything now. But there's a process for that, right? So get over your trauma, get over your fear, get over your anxiety. And there are experts that can help you do that. There's videos out there, there's books you can read, stuff like that, and then that'll really help you live your best life. The greatest secret to success that I have, honestly, is to really not be afraid to fail. Like if you can get to the point where you have no fear of failure and you embrace failure as a learning experience, and you know that failing is really the process you go through to get to your first success, then you can go do a lot of great things. Like the number one reason I succeed so much in my life now is because I fail every day. I love to fail because every time I fail, I'm gonna win. Well, I don't love it. I'm not gonna say I love it. It's still painful. It's uncomfortable. I probably like winning more than losing. But when I lose, I'm always like, okay, now I'm better. Now I'm tougher. Now I'm battle tested. Now when I go back, I've got a greater chance of winning. I hope that helps you guys. Okay, so let me read the next question here. Let's see. Sybil says, can you be more specific when you say diversify and invest in things other than stocks? Yeah, the main ways that people get rich in America are stocks, real estate, and entrepreneurship. So if you want, so the biggest challenge, the biggest goal that you want to have financially, I mentioned this last week in class, and I'm gonna reiterate this, is the biggest goal you should have to achieve financial freedom and strength and independence is to develop a capital base. That's what rich people have that you don't have. Is they, you know, if you look at kids that look like they were born with a silver spoon in their mouth and whatever. All that the only difference between you and them is that they have a capital base. The only difference between you and a major corporation or you and Harvard University is Harvard has a capital base. If you take away Harvard's capital base, that $26 billion endowment that they have, then Harvard is in a much weaker state than they are right now. What a capital base and endowment does is it just kind of protects you from all the economic problems that occur within life. So the best thing you can do with your children, the number one thing you should do for your child is work early, start early with things like the $5 a day investment plan to give your child a capital base. The $5 a day investment or $5 day investment plan is at theallblackagenda.com. Pick that up. It's a short little ebook, doesn't take you long to read. It'll change your life, and it'll also change your child's life. So effectively, if you do that, if you give them a capital base, then they're pretty much free. You can literally easily put your child in a position where they never have to work for anyone else, which is a complete game changer for Black people. Most Black people can't do what they want to do because they got to go to work, or they're afraid of what their boss is going to do, or there's the microaggressions they talk about, the racism you experience. Most racism Black people experience on a day-to-day basis is not from a cop trying to kill them, because cops do. I don't talk to cops that often. I maybe once every couple of years I get pulled over, but even then it's not a big deal, right? The biggest racism that you experience is actually at work. It's on your job, right? So when your kid is 27 years old, you want them to have the option to quit that job and walk away and just go do whatever they want. That comes from having a capital base. Why? Well, because that means that their bills will be paid. That the number one fear that we have economically is, my God, if I lose my job, I can't pay my bills anymore. Well, if you got a capital base, your bills are paid, which frees you up to live the rest of your life. So for most people, the difference between freedom and capitalist slavery is literally about $5,000 a month. If you can figure out how to generate 5,000, for some people it's only 3,000 a month, right? 3 to 5,000 a month in income somehow independently, you're free for life. You literally have bought yourself off the plantation. You can go live your best life, do whatever you want. So if you want to give a gift to your children, or maybe this is a gift I'm giving to you, put them in a position where they can figure out how to make an extra $3,000 to $5,000 a month. And you can start by helping them have a capital base, because there's no kid that it has, $250,000 in the bank that has to go to work every day. They're going to work because they want to, not because they have to. That's extremely, extremely important. Because if you don't do that, then what's happened is when your financial capital base has been depleted or does not exist, you have to turn to your human capital base. The human capital base is only utilized in the form of labor. Sometimes it's humiliating labor. Even prostitution is a form of labor that leans on your human capital base, right? A woman says, well, the only valuable thing that my parents gave me is my body. So they sell their body, right? Because that's their capital base, right? For a man, his body is used maybe to do hard labor, and you don't want that to happen, because that's a very tough life to live. We've all seen that up close. All right, so let me move on here. All right, let's see. Anita Clark says, "Thank you for all the knowledge and trading insight you provide. I have 5K to start to begin trading options. Is that enough? Also, do you have a coupon to ease the cost of the stock options masterclass?" Yes, I do, and yes, I do. Um, if you want to dig into options and you want to learn how to trade options, buy and sell, all that stuff, the masterclass recording is at stockoptionsmasterclass.com. That's stockoptionsmasterclass.com. If you go to stockoptionsmasterclass.com, you can actually get 20% off by using this coupon code. And the code word is Dr. Boyce, Dr. Boyce. So if you go to stockoptionsmasterclass.com, somebody type that in, please, so others can see it. Use the coupon code Dr. Boyce, and that coupon code will actually give you 20% off anything in the Black Business School. So if you do our program for children, use the same code. It's available for you guys because you guys are here. So I hope that helps you. All right. So Sean Brown, Dr. Boyce, I'm interested in joining the Black Legal Program. Does this program have a link where I can submit questions to lawyers concerning any legal question? Do you offer a discount coupon for this program? Okay, the Black Legal Program is a recording of all the trainings that Attorney Nicole Compton has done to kind of help you understand your way around the legal system. And that URL is theblacklegalprogram.com, theblacklegalprogram.com. What we do not have is there is no sort of active person teaching the class now because the class is over, but the materials available. So you can't submit a question to a lawyer to get the question answered. And also, it would be a lot to ask the instructor to serve as an attorney to all the students in the class because, to be honest with you, lawyers are expensive. Their time is very valuable. And so we don't have that contract with our attorneys that are in the Black Business School. However, that coupon code Dr. Boyce, Dr. Boyce, can be used to get 20% off that program or any other. So feel free to go and use the coupon code. All right, Reginald Gadsden, I missed the last 2 lectures. Can you tell me the step-by-step process to replay the lecture again? Your assistance is appreciated. Okay, all right. So what you would do is you would log in at the blackstockmarketprogram.com, theblackstockmarketprogram.com. Carmelita, who runs, who puts all the Q&As in the system. Okay, she says that if you go in and you look under Dr. Boyce live Q&A session replays, if you go to so if you log in, you will see additional programs and information added to your course, right? So it's not just Black Money 102 you get access to. It's 5 years of material. It's so much stuff. You and your family could use this for the rest of your life, and it would literally keep you occupied forever because there's so much good stuff in there. But also, in addition to that, there is let me turn this off. In addition to that, there's bonus material. And so if you go in and let me do a preview so I can see this, and maybe I can share my screen so you guys can see it. If you log in and you go to the bonus material, that's where you can find the recordings. Okay. So you guys know we meet every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern. That's where you can ask the live questions, things like that. But everything's recorded so you can get access to it whenever. So this is Black Money 102 right here on your screen. Let me know if you guys can see it. So this is all the standard material, the standard curriculum. There's a ton of stuff there. And then if you go to included courses, you can hit that and then go to Ask Dr. Boyce. Right. And so under Ask Dr. Boyce, there is Dr. Boyce live Q&A session replays. And you see every date is here over on the side, and all the recordings are in here. And you can see there's been a lot of live Q&As, and you just look and ask Dr. Boyce. I've answered a ton of questions, and I've been doing this for years. So that's, you see, you just keep scrolling. So literally, if I was trying to learn stock market investing in a very subtle, easy, simple way, I would literally just sit there and just watch the different videos. And one thing you can do actually is you can speed up the video. Let me show you guys this. This is actually a good little trick. So let's say you're looking at an answer to one of the questions. Well, you have a little button in the bottom right hand side that lets you speed the video up. I believe. Let me see if I can find this. Hold on, give me a second. Okay, here we go. So here's the video. So if you're playing the video, right? Take a look at that. And so the next question. So if you go down here and hit this, you can hit speed. And what I do to get through a lot of material quickly is I speed it up to like 150%. So you speed it up like that, right? That was submitted. These were submitted through the blackstockmarketprogram.com. The next question that was submitted was from Kaleche. So all these questions are here. And then what you can do is you can either click on the next video and just go video to video, or it automatically actually goes to the next video. So literally, maybe while you're cleaning your house or driving your car or whatever, You can just play the stuff and just go step by step. And I guarantee if you just sit there and you listen to me talk about it for a long time, you're going to learn this stuff. A lot of you have been doing that already. And that's a great way to learn. Like that's just as effective as going through the stress of, paying $10,000 for a college class and doing homework assignments and all that stuff. Really, I'm a believer in sort of letting it seep into your subconscious through conversational learning. That's actually fun for me. So let me move to the next. And that's how you should teach your kids, in my view. Like, just have conversations with them. Don't pressure them. Just sort of talk about little things and look for opportunities to give them wealth examples. So when something happens around them and they're curious about it, you can kind of say, well, that's what happens, when you don't have money saved, or yeah, if you start your own business, then you don't have to worry about that type of stuff. Like, and kids will pick up on that. They're very, very smart. All right. So next question. Next question is from Terrence Williams. What is the process for paying taxes on your stocks every time you make a sale or purchase? How often do you have to pay taxes on them? Do you have a tax attorney in your network? I can't think of any tax attorneys, but you don't need a tax attorney to pay taxes on your stock. You just need a tax professional who knows how to account for your transactions. So once a year, your accountant or your tax professional should have you go into your your brokerage account, and they've got documents. If you click and you look at the documents section, they'll have documents you can download that document all of your transactions for the year. And also, when you buy stock, the reason it's better to be a long-term investor than short-term is because when you are a long-term investor, you pay less in taxes. So they give you tax incentives to invest for a longer period of time. You don't want to pay taxes on short-term capital gains. You only want to pay taxes on long-term capital gains or tax deferred investments like IRAs and 401ks and things like that. That's why